You guys, journalists. The journalists are sad. They're really sad, you guys. Everybody's being mean to them and they're saying mean things. Well, I don't really give a shit. Everybody hates you, and you deserve to be hated. You absolutely deserve it. There is no portion of society more vile, more small, more pathetic, and disgusting. You guys, the journalists. I don't really give a shit. Everybody hates you. You guys, the journalists. Vast, overwhelming 98% of them. Absolutely disgusting. You're the cause. The absolute root cause. Everything that's happened the last couple of years. All the crimes, all the theft, all the bullshit, all the gaslighting. You made it all possible. You guys, the journalists. I don't really give a shit. Everybody hates you. You guys, the journalists. You didn't ask questions. You didn't do your job. You took that corporate money. You took that corporate money, didn't you? I don't really give a shit. Everybody hates you. You took that big money. So you can sit there and lie and obfuscate and run cover for billionaires and pharmaceutical companies and all the rest of it. In the meantime, you're printing your newspapers how the unvaccinated should be banned from grocery stores. You guys, the journalists. I don't really give a shit. Do they even deserve to have rights? We need one. Should we tolerate these people? What's to be done with the unvaccinated people? You guys, the journalists. I don't really give a shit. Everybody hates you. The journalists. The journalists. You fucking psychos, and now you want to cry? You're gonna cry to everybody else cries to police? Oh, police. I thought we were defunding the police. That's a different conversation. Oh, help us, people saying mean things. Do you know how many people you've contributed to murdering themselves and suicide? You're not talking about that. You're not talking about the drug overdoses, the amount of fentanyl flooding into this country, and all the rest of the shit that's going on. You're just doing whatever the giant talking head tells you to do. Whatever comes down the Associated Press wire, whatever it is, just say it. Just write it. Doesn't matter. And when you do, would some of you even attempt to come out like fish face there, right? Hi, Rachel, you dumb bitch. You're a fucking joke. Go make a TikTok video about Sprite versus Fanta. You think you're a journalist? Holy shit. Give her a Pulitzer. My God. This is the bottom of the fucking barrel. There it is. Hi, Rachel, you in there? Are you in there? Bottom of the barrel. That's where we're at. This is absolutely insane now. And now they're crying about it. No. You guys, the journalists. Everybody hates you, and you deserve to be hated. You guys, the journalists. Everybody hates you, and you deserve to be hated. You guys, the journalists. I don't really give a shit. You guys, the journalists. The journalists. Everybody hates you. I don't really give a shit. The journalists. The journalists. Everybody hates you, and you deserve to be hated. You absolutely deserve it.
Terribly, labels can have a terribly negative and hurtful impact. And I think that it is important for all of us to understand that words have power. Words have meaning. Words have meaning. Words have meaning. Words have meaning. Words have meaning.
This so-called convoy actually seeded the ground, in my opinion, for the worst display of Nazi, racist,
Conspiracy theories, far-right, misogynist conspiracy theories,
Nazi, racist,
conspiracy theories, far-right, misogynist conspiracy theories.
And that means we're going to work with provinces and territories on vaccination certifications, on vaccination passports, so that everyone can be safe. And what's more, the federal government has announced we're going to pay for the development of those privileges that you get once you get vaccinated, because everyone needs to get vaccinated, and those people are putting us all at risk. You people, those people, 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 you people, you people, you people, you people,
you
racist, conspiracy theories, far-right misogynist conspiracy theories, Nazi, racist, conspiracy theories, far-right misogynist conspiracy theories, Nazi, racist, conspiracy theories, far-right misogynist conspiracy theories, Nazi, racist, conspiracy theories, far-right misogynist conspiracy theories.
You deserve a government that's going to continue to say, get vaccinated. And you know what? If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. But don't think you can get on a plane or a train beside vaccinated people and put them at risk. We need to be strong in the decisions we're taking going forward, and we need to put people first.
Nazi,
Anti-vax,
racist,
anti-vax, far-right, anti-vax, conspiracy theories,
Nazi,
anti-vax,
racist,
anti-vax, far-right, anti-vax, conspiracy theories,
Nazi,
anti-vax,
racist,
anti-vax, far-right, 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 far-right,
into putting their own lives at risk, and I won't apologize for doing that.
Slow fade coming in. Let's fucking go! Welcome back to the EdgeStream, everybody! Wow, what a couple of fucking music videos right there. That was intense.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Like, respect.
It gets me jacked up watching them too, man. I'm like, yeah.
And yeah, those are incredible. Well, I got my special guest co-host here tonight, TOFU TV.
How's it going, man? It's been a while. It's been a while, a couple of months.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you back on streams. I know you had a bit of a switcheroo with jobs and stuff, but now I guess you got some more times that you're able to deliver us some gems like that right there.
Yeah. That's the plan, and that's the hope, is that I'm going to be able to just really dive into music. That's what I did throughout the fall. Like, I couldn't stream because I was working hard construction, and I was a little black pilled at the time. So I buried my head into music, and I really figured out, like, that drop on the Bigot Bounce there. I had to learn how to do that, because dubstep is actually it's a very specific skill that you have to do a specific way. I can explain if you're interested. I don't want to ramble.
I might be. Now, I never figured out dubstep. I do like music production myself, and I never really got that much into EDM. You know, I would go to I would try to force myself to go to some of these EDM concerts in university, right? And I would like, oh, am I doing it right? The fist pump and whatnot. But dubstep was always really cool, because, like, you know, people would get crazy at those events, and like that wob, like how to really mess with the sound waves when you're doing music productions. I never really figured out how to do that, but that's really cool. The way you incorporate that with the music and your editing is like perfectly in sync with the music. Like, it's those little things that people catch on to, but it really is like a very delicate design that you have going there.
So the kids are calling that Kino with a K. I don't know if
Kino,
I said
yes,
how
it is
boomer I
Kino.
sound, but it's Kino. And the idea is to make sure that everything kind of lines up like synchronistically with the music and just to have a fusion of all the levels of the art, right? So everything kind of mixes together. With dubstep, it's interesting because not a lot of people realize that it's in the name. It's dubbed, right? So you take the synthesizer that you have to make that synthesizer, whether it's a wub or a whatever it is, and then you record that. You make that a sample. And then the actual thing that's used in the song is the sample, and they manipulate the sample itself. So in Bigot Bounce, what you have there's no pitch oscillation in the original sample. It's just bop, 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 bop. And then what I did was I put a little pitch down for the first two notes, and then on the third bar, I put a pitch up. So it goes womp, 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 womp. And that's all in the sample. You wouldn't do that with the piano. People think they have to do that with the piano itself, but no, you're doing it in the sample. And once I figured that out, it opened a whole like world of possibilities with sound design. And I just started, it was actually Derek sent me 3 videos that I guess you had sent him. And he was like, you should take this first video of him talking about words have meaning, words and like calling us all these names, and you should like show him calling us all these names. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll sit there with that. And then
I thought that's where you got them from.
yeah. And then so basically I sat there with my stuff here that I got a push 2 here and a keyboard here, and I put the samples on my beat pad, and I just started sitting there. And one night I was really baked on mushrooms and I had the beat going. I was just like, Nazi, racist, conspiracy theories. I was sitting there for like 10 minutes just like, yeah, like by myself in this room. And then like a couple of weeks later I was like, all right, let's put it together, and here we go.
Well, that's awesome, man. It's really good. Like the art of a DJ who knows how to program different things to different keys. Like now I know how to play instruments like keyboard and guitar and stuff, and I know how to write music online. But when you could, or on computer programs, I mean, but yeah, like a DJ that has all their buttons that could drop things at the right time, drop like samples and whatnot. Now you're gonna come back with your show again, and it's gonna be more music based. From what
that's what I'm hoping. I'm right now I'm trying to on this side, I'm not trying to take from my main funds. What I'm trying to do is buy another camera, and I want to set it up right up there, and then it's going to shoot down on all my equipment, and I'm going to have this program that does audio reactive visuals. So I'm going to start the show with some like live looping performances, some like live synthwave. And nope, not Fruity Loops. I'm using Ableton Live. So
I'm a Fruity Loops
basically guy. Yeah, I see Saxon on there. So what's up, man? You're doing a really good job, and I like your stuff.
Yeah, man. Well, it just came from the Saxon stream. So he's stealing our ideas and doing them before us. Project Bluebeam. We'll talk about it.
That's a big thing about broadcasting, though, Edgy. You got to be able to take there's only one story in a day, and everybody has to be able to take it and do their own spin on it. So
exactly. Yeah. Well, I learned more about it than I learned from my own research, so I'll be able to incorporate that. It's a team effort here,
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do like some live synth wave, and then, I'll lower the levels and I'll be like, what's up, guys? And, we'll chat like we're chatting now, and possibly get some phone calls in and talk about what's going on. I'm trying to make the whole thing a little more casual for me because I stressed myself out too much. And then when life got too stressed out, I got burnt out and I had to take a big break, and it was messy. So.
Well, glad to see you're back, and take it in a way that you can handle it and have some longevity,
Right on.
Well, fucking, we got a bunch of people in the chat. We got some slashes, throwing up some slashes. Good to see that. Mosh Pit, Slice Cube, North of Nothing. Good to see you, buddy. Iskra Biala saying Edgy D is a reverse chastity belt. Do you know what that means? Does that mean everybody wants to? Everybody want
to something like that. He's like,
yeah, I encourage, I inspire people to want to fuck. Okay, I'm glad I titillate you. Oh well, I'm not sure. I'm glad. I'd have to see.
It doesn't stand for Dan.
Maitre Shanu, good to see you. Slice Cube, Colbert's mom. You guys, the journalists. Classic. Lee Stewie, good to see you in the chat. Kimberly, Dan the Raging Canadian. Kabooble. My trusty Kabooble. All right. Oh, yeah, and we are live over on multiple platforms, Odyssey and Rumble as well. Seems like somebody is spamming in the Odyssey chat, so there is some, at least one bot, maybe a person, I'm not sure.
Is it really racist? Because I used to get that a lot on mine. Like somebody would come in and be like, "You big nose, this and that," and I'd be like, "Oh man, chill out."
No, it's just like 30 hashtags, like hashtag climate scam, hashtag scamdemic. Yeah, so I don't know what they're up to. But yeah, I'm dipping my toes into these alt platforms too. Want to get myself on them. And Entropy, of course, if you guys want to do any donations to help support the stream, or to try and steer the conversation in any way, or you want to show us something, feel free to give any donations on Entropy. In fact, I'll write that in the YouTube chat, and I'll pin it just so anybody could access that at any time easily. And all right, let's get into some of these topics here. Like usual, there's no shortage of crazy things going on, and I'm sure we won't get to all of it, but we'll get to a bunch of stuff. Right now, we're dealing with a bombardment of phenomenon in the sky. Now, I wasn't crazy about it at first. This Chinese balloon, it seemed like the gayest story possible, and the fact that the media, the mainstream media, was freaking out about it, and they were openly saying Chinese balloon, like even on CNN. That was a red flag for me right there. That like, this is not a thing that you should be paying attention to, other than to understand why they're trying to make us pay attention to it. Would you have a similar opinion on that?
Well, like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. We were talking about it in the green room. There's World War III is breaking out. Plus the Epstein list. The other one is the massive plume of hydrochloric acid just wafting through the sky. And this is like relatively close to like us. You know,
whoa. Which cloud? Which cloud? Because there's the purple vagina cloud that was in Turkey. Now apparently there's another one. And now we have the train derailment explosion where there's massive clouds of like black smoke, and it's potentially poisoned the water supply in the grounds for millions and millions of people. We don't even know yet.
We have Dua Lipas. One is in one was in Turkey, and now one is in Argentina. And the freaky thing about the cloud in the sky above Argentina is they saw that before the earthquake in Turkey. So, like you said, yes, you're correct. There's Dua Lipas. Now, on the other hand, there's the hydrochloric acid cloud that's just like chilling south of Lake Erie. And that's closer to Toronto than North Bay. Think of that, right? Like the distance. That's scary. A little bit of a northerly wind, and you know, your granny's getting doused in acid. Awkward. Yeah. So there's the first vaginal cloud.
Right. Now, does this have any historical precedences? Like, has anybody explained this yet? Because there's so many things going on that I'm not even getting like the full explanation on everything. Like it's
extremely
like
apocalyptic. Like, I don't know how else to say it. A vagina shows up in the cloud, and then in the clouds, and then like the whole country starts to shake, and like 8,000, how, like a lot of people died. Okay. And that's tragic. It's terrible. Like now people are saying that this could be HARP because like it looks doesn't look real. It doesn't look natural. You know?
It seems like the COVID thing is over for the most part for now, right? The pandemic scare. So now are they going full out on the environment? Is this what the climate lockdowns, which people have prophesized, is this how it starts?
Well, that's another way of looking at it. There's the climate lockdowns for the earthquakes, but also you could say for the acid. Maybe they're going to come and move us out of our area, force us out of our area, and then put us somewhere else and say you can't leave. Like,
oh yeah,
and then maybe right?
Then they buy up all the places where we did live, buy up all the land for buy us out, saying, "Oh, this is unsafe. We need to take it from you. Well, here we'll give you a little payout." But now
they jacked my mortgage this week.
Right.
This week they just came around and said, "Hey, so how about your mortgage? Want to pay more?" I was like, "No," and they were like, "Yeah, well, sir, you gotta." Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's start from the balloon first off, right? So, yeah, it's quite the distraction. It is weird that they're openly saying Chinese balloon because normally that would be racist, right? Like when Trump said China virus, people blamed Asian people being beat up in the street on Trump because he said Chinese virus, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in Italy they were having or it was in Italy and in Toronto, I think they had a hug a Chinese person day, and then Italy had the worst outbreak of all, like the worst. And it was all because they decided to be nice and hug Chinese people.
Wasn't Italy, didn't they have the biggest breakout right from the beginning of COVID?
Yeah.
Because they had all these Chinese workers in the specific like factory area where like basically they had such bad smog and pollution from all the industrial all the industry in that area that people were dying of lung issues anyways, and then this just fell right into their hands.
It's actually it's a thing that's been going on for a long time. My family's hometown, it's kind of interesting because like my family's hometown would be at the tip of the boot, and it was the only town in all of Italy that didn't get one case of COVID throughout the whole thing. It was really remarkable. But Italy went down hard. They had people like singing on the balconies and stuff. I don't know if you remember that. It's been a long time now, eh?
Yeah, that's 3 years ago now, when you really think of it, to the beginning of the new world that we're living in now. And
remember when everybody was clapping out on the porches when they were like clapping for the healthcare workers? I had my cousin play the USSR anthem, and it made it so awkward. Like, because he's in BC, right? So everybody in their condos were clapping at 7:30 p.m. And so I said, okay, what you need to do is get your big JBL speaker and put on the USSR anthem and blast it out the window at that time. And he did it, and it made it awkward. It was a great story. Anyways,
Okay, well, anyways, weird things about the balloon story. It's first off, why would China use a balloon to spy on everybody? Like, do satellites not already have all these capabilities? And second of all, apparently these balloons have been coming off course, these supposed weather balloons, for many years now. So now they're just calling it out. And another interesting thing is that even the supposed right-wing media like Fox News and Tucker Carlson, even he is using it as an excuse to go after China. And like they're pretending like Biden is on the side of the Chinese balloon, that like somehow Biden is compromised through maybe Hunter Biden with the laptop, and that's why Joe Biden is letting this balloon fly through the, I guess Canada. I guess Canada's in on it too because it flew through there. But he let it fly all the way through the States. And even though he shot it down, and Biden has been as jingoistic, maybe not as jingoistic for war or for escalations against China as the right wing or, you know, the Republicans. Like the Tucker Carlson on Fox News is pretending like Joe Biden is on the side of the Chinese. So you have this like controlled opposition narrative where they're both against China, but now the right wing is getting mad at Biden for not being warmongering enough against China.
So what I'm seeing happening at the same time, though, is while we're seeing balloons, okay, balloons are coming over the Pacific Ocean right now. Yay, balloons. Your picture is perfect because like, oh, look, a balloon. Oh, my goodness, you know? But what's happening on the other ocean, right, is leopard tanks are going across, right? Arms are going across. Money is going across. So it's literally like you said, look over here while we're doing this over here. All right. They're provocating a nuclear third world war. Right. And at the same time, they're saying, oh, we're worried about balloons. Why would they be worried about balloons when there's literal Death Star lasers coming out of the sky in Hawaii? Why aren't we talking about that?
I have not seen the Hawaii lasers yet. I got to look into that.
Yeah.
Hold
well,
on,
there's the tail of the tape I sent you.
Hawaii
like, there's lasers. Like, bro, it's the Death Star. And it's just like casually going down.
Was this like Aurora Borealis or some shit? Like what the?
No, man. That's like the freaking laser iron curtain or something. And they're like just glossing over that for some air balloons. It's the balloons.
Right. Well,
yeah.
I kind of have a timeline of so what we're so we started off with let's get back to the balloon here. We started off with the balloon.
Lot to parse.
Yeah, it went on that's been since February 4th, and then they shot it down. And then there was an unidentified flying object. Where was the first one? Sorry. I have a link here that sums it all up. It'll be a lot easier to go over the timeline. Okay, yeah, Reuters.
Like roids. But it's also the other article I sent you from Fox. You know, February 10th, big expose about the Epstein client list. You know, that's being pushed out, and that's going to be published soon.
Right. So what do they mean by client list though? Is that people who flew on the plane? Because I thought we already had that, or at least we had an unofficial version. I think this is like
transaction records or something, man. I think this is like, you know, we had Prince Andrew flown Lolita. And he purchased 2 redheads, and you know.
But would they wouldn't put down that he purchased like
I don't know, like, but it's a client list. It's like, you know, when a weed dealer gives you a spot and he writes down, Danny owes me $30. It's probably something like that. You know, right. I don't know. Or
so I feel like there'll be a list, and then it'll have like a bunch of coded transactions. And it'll be up to people to figure out what exactly was purchased and what is the exact deal that's going on. Now, if this is coming from Ghislaine Maxwell in her testimony in order to get a more lenient sentence or something like that, then I would assume that she's snitching people out, right? And then you're going to get really good, solid, graphic evidence about all these different celebrities or powerful influencers who are caught up in this.
Ghislaine Maxwell, you got to remember, is like she's intelligence. She's part of the intelligence. Her father was a part of the intelligence.
Yeah, Robert Maxwell was like a top Mossad spy working for the British and the Israeli intelligence agencies, specifically their CIA, the Mossad. And I think he screwed over so many different people. He stole American secrets and sold it to China, I believe.
Yeah.
But
He was
eventually,
a massive dual agent, and
yeah,
you got to
eventually got
remember what
thrown
this
off
all
his
comes
own
back
ship.
to. This is all the Albert Pike Third World War, take back the United States from the rebels stuff, man. That's what this all is. It's one big plot. You know, the Queen gives them Israel, you know, and they used Israel to vassal state the United States and take back the sovereignty. It's a massive conspiracy, 100 years laid in this and that, you know.
Okay,
And,
well,
yeah.
well, that definitely goes with the Project Bluebeam stuff, which I've heard of
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
I've heard of that before, but I just read into it for the first time, and I saw North of Nothing stream where he was going over it. But anyways, I got the timeline for the balloon and all the flying objects. So February 4th is when the balloon gets shot down in the States. Second object was downed over Alaska. So I believe that one was kind of like a balloon shape too, and then the third object was the one that was over the Yukon that Trudeau said that he gave the go ahead to shoot down, and that one was about the size of a car, though not necessarily shaped like a car, and they didn't see or sense any communication coming from it.
Yeah, and so the Lake Huron one,
Right.
were you mentioning that?
Yeah, I think that came after this article, but yeah, that's another one.
This was just like yesterday, like 2 days ago or something like that. My buddy lives up in Manitoulin Island. I'm like, hey, bud, do you see the Chinese up in your sky? And he's like, nope. Like any F-16s or something like that. And he's like, no, it's you know, don't see anything. But like it was right above Tobermory, which is sort of viewable from where he is. Like on the horizon, you can't see the actual island, but like, you know, you can see the horizon. But I mean, like that's think of it though. This is what you got to think of. If they can get a balloon that far into our defense systems, like without being shot down, okay? What else can they get that far into our defense systems? How sleepy are we? How unguarded are we?
I mean, they let everybody into our country anyways, whether you're a Chinese spy or you're a migrant with a history of rape and murder, then they'll let you in. So I don't think our our defensive strategy was that good to begin with.
Yeah.
Now, do you think it was necessary to shoot these things down? Like, they're saying, oh, it's for the safety of all Canadians. Like, if something is the size of a car, and
personally, I wouldn't leave it up there. You know,
but isn't there anything else you could do? Don't you have some jets that could make some maneuvers and go get close to it, get some kind of
lasso it or something?
Well, no, see man. What the fuck it is.
You either fly or shoot it down. It's you got a one or the other chance. I think was it Rage that was? I think he was talking about that the other day, where the leaders are given a little simulation, and you have to decide whether or not to shoot it down. And I guess in Trudeau's simulation, when he was being trained, he didn't shoot it down. But yeah, I guess in this situation, another weird point is that Trudeau said he gave the order to shoot it down. And then like a couple hours later, the leader of the Air Force, the United States Air Force, he said he gave the order. So nobody knows who like is telling the truth. I mean,
you know who gives the orders? Our good friend, the
or
Goblin.
NORAD, right? That's
you remember
a big
this?
Deal.
It turns out this was predictive programming.
Oh yeah.
You didn't think about it at the time, but now it all makes sense. So this is Omar Algebra and Justin Trudeau's Christmas LARP that they wasted taxpayer money on.
Yeah.
And you know, they're like Mission Impossible. They're a bunch of secret agents now, supposedly. Anyways, we all remember the ending about the Canadian airspace.
Santa's cleared for travel in Canadian airspace. He's coming. Merry Christmas, Happy
You
Holidays.
fucking shot down Santa with a fucking missile because you didn't. You went by your policy of shoot first, ask questions later.
There is
Now
not enough soft light for this fucking face. Holy shit! Like, look at him.
He needs more adrenochrome. That's for sure.
They could not soften that light enough. I'm sorry. Like,
Here, I'll spare you. There we go. Christmas.
All right.
Well, yeah, I didn't think of it at the time, but maybe they're trying to prep us for these escalated sky games that they're playing.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems likely.
Now, do you think that they're gonna slip in the aliens narrative? Do you think that's coming? This whole Project Bluebeam, where they're gonna try to tease us and pretend like there might be some extraterrestrials that are found. Like, what do you think that they're gonna find amongst the rubble, if anything?
So I'm religious, and I believe that these people are doing this out of religious sentiment. So I think that when this whole Project Bluebeam thing goes down, is they're not going to be saying, "Oh, it's green goblins in the sky." I think they're going to try and pull off like it's a new religion. I think that's what is coming down the hatch. I think we all run a big risk right now because there's a lot of theology that's being shopped out on the internet, and it's confusing a lot of people, making them like good Christians into Gnostics and just thinking of like terrible theology that just doesn't make sense. And I think that's going to tie into the whole scientism religion, and it's convoluted, but that's what I believe Project Bluebeam is more about. And this is more of like a, I don't know. Is there going to be holograms in the sky? Could happen. Right. But I mean, like, at this point, I'm just not going to believe it. They're going to have to stick the probe in my butt before I believe it. Like,
and even then, they're going to do that anyways, and you're just going to know that it's gay and not aliens. So
yeah.
I think that the stuff in the sky, it's trying to prepare us for escalated military conflict. I don't think this is the alien stuff yet. I don't think we're at that level yet, though everything is like them dipping their toe in the waters. So for now, I think this is just escalated military conflict, like NATO and those allies versus Russia, China, and whatever that axis is going to end up being. I think that they're going to try to get us warmed up to the thought of like what might be a false flag or something, right? Things just blow up. Things underwater or in the sky, right? Also, it's a distraction, clearly, to what are the main things? Nord Stream pipeline, the new revelation. Seymour Hersh Pulitzer Prize winner. We'll probably get into that in a bit later. But he got intel from an unidentified source who was working on the whole plan to bomb Nord Stream, the whole plot of the American government and NATO to bomb the Nord Stream pipeline and, maybe blame it on on Russians or try to like push it off to them and use that in the propaganda war. But this guy's coming forward with that, I think on February 7th or 8th. So all this timing is impeccable for like the perfect storm of distractions, as well as the train disaster, of course. Which
the Epstein list and that Nord Stream pipeline article, those two together are enough. Like those are big historical moments. And it's tough for us right now because every day we're being like ass blasted with historical moments. And so it's easy to gloss over it. I mean, we had UFOs, Chinese space balloons, the Death Star, and what was it? There was another one. I forget. But there was and the frickin' Chernobyl in Ohio, all in 4 days, right? Like that's like over the weekend. That was a weekend. I think Rachel Gilmore was actually lamenting about that on Twitter. She was like, I said, take it easy, news gods. I mean, like, I get it. Like, I get it. Like,
well, she'll be too distracted with that for a bit, maybe, to go on her diagolon spree again. But anyways, this Project Bluebeam thing, it is interesting, and it goes along with what you're saying, that they're trying to warm people up to like put holograms in the sky and make people think that there's a new, like, our gods are coming to Earth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like Jesus for English speaking people, Allah for the Arab world, or Muhammad. Like there's gonna be second comings of everyone, and then or of all of them, and then they're gonna bind them together into a new Antichrist for a new world religion. That's what they seem to be implying. Now, this actually does combine well with the idea of the Noahide laws and the Mashiach, with the new coming of the Messiah that the Zionist Jews have in Israel, like the ultra orthodox, like Shabbat Lubavitch, the thing that Jared Kushner is involved in, and
libs of TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. People don't realize that libs of TikTok is just the same as rebel. They're just trying to get under your skin and make you angry and make you think that everyone around you is divided from you and different than you, and that there's more craziness around you than there really is.
I mean, I like her work. I like her work with exposing the tranny agenda and stuff like that. But I think ultimately they're going to try, like, once they get enough power in Greater Israel, they're going to try to pull all the different religions to heel and have them kind of working under them. Like Christianity will be like super Zionist Christianity, and they'll have to follow the Noahide laws. So libs of TikTok, and from what I can see, libs of TikTok is no different than when Mossad posts made for BBC memes on 4chan. Because what they're doing is they're trying to enrage you. They're just trying to put that degeneracy in front of you and say it's everywhere. And this is what people think everywhere, right? That's just from what I can see, because like I've been noticing a trend. That it's like, you know, people are addicted to cortisol these days, man. People are addicted to stress. And like you could probably like tell this for yourself. You know what is rewarded on the internet, right? It's crazy behavior. So it's like, you know, there might be a psyop behind that is all I'm saying. There might be a psyop. But it all does tie back into this Project Bluebeam thing, because with Project Bluebeam, what you get is the whole concept of an apocalypse of the occult, which would be like a revealing of the method, right? So you have in the occult, like what is considered the occult, you have Greek Platonism, which is now considered Neoplatonism. You have Kabbalah, right? And then you have the Hermeticism, like the Hermetic practice, right? Technically, those things are all the same thing, right? And what it distills down to is Gnosticism. And what Gnosticism essentially is what they're trying to implement here, right? It's this concept that the God that like the Christians worship is actually like a mean guy, and is this like you're your own God? And
yeah,
and mixing in with the transhumanism stuff.
Yeah, that's what these guys are going to come down and teach us, is how to become our own gods. That's the idea here, is that like they're prepping us in all these different, like you hear it a lot in the Truther podcasts where they invite all these Gnostics in. And so what they're doing is they're prepping your mind for this sort of idea that like you can become your own god, and the aliens are going to come and they're going to teach you how to do that like they did the Egyptians, and then we're going to build our own pyramids and have free energy, and climate change will be solved for everyone, and essentially we'll just be communist slaves of the new pharaoh class.
It's like Uncle Ted said, Ted Kaczynski, with his manifesto, saying that the progress of technology is going to necessitate the loss of free will. So the greater technology gets, the more people have to get in line, and they don't have decisions because their personal decision could destroy a lot of things if they can harness that technology for themselves and use it in a way that goes against what everyone else wants to do with the technology, right? You see it in a microcosm. They won't even let us speak freely online anymore.
Yeah, and it's dehumanizing, right? And that's actually a big part of this whole timeline that we're in, right? If you look back at World War I, what do you got there? You got the ends of kings transferring from horseback to tank, right? So that's the whole atmosphere of World War I. And then World War II, you have the end of trench warfare, and you move into nuclear warfare. You move into modern warfare and stuff like that. And then you have the Cold War, where we start to do warfare by silent weapons for quiet wars. You know, that whole sort of idea starts to peak up more prominently. You get subversion from the Cold War, the Soviet state, and then now we're at this point where our war is for the mind. It is that fourth, what do they call it? The fourth generation warfare, where it's info war, right? And so we're the combatants in a sense, right? The battlefield is the citizen's mind. Dun, dun, dun.
I had to get that Alex Jones yell in there because you said info war. But anyways, I agree with all of that. Some of that is a bit esoteric for me, where it's like I need to get more into those theories and stuff.
Gotta smoke a joint.
Yeah. You gotta open my mind, man. The Project Bluebeam, some of it seems pretty far-fetched. Like they're saying, that there's gonna be holograms of all these different deities coming in the sky. I don't know if they're gonna do that necessarily. However, step 4 that they've outlined here on this Reddit post, I get all my information off of Reddit, of course. Where else? No, I'm kidding. But
yes, you do.
Making they say step 4 is 3 parts: making humanity think an alien invasion is about to occur in every major city. So I don't think we're there yet, but I could see this happening in the future. Making the Christians think that the rapture is about to happen. That wouldn't be hard.
Yeah,
they
that's
always
a scary one, man.
And then a mixture of a mixture of electronic and supernatural forces, allowing the supernatural forces to travel through fiber optics, coax power and telephone lines to penetrate all electronic equipment and appliances that will, by now 2023, all have a special microchip installed, 5G. So I could see that kind of connectivity, as well as the Neuralink, what someone like Elon Musk is working on. If your brain can connect to things that are going on and your mind has some kind of influence on it, whether it's through like a holographic projection or it's reading your brain activity, however they figure out how to do this, I could see things like this happening with that. It's honestly like a natural conclusion. And they also say that things like, say, the holograph in the sky or wherever their power center is could be communicating with you in your head. And I assume that's what Neuralink would allow to happen. You'd be able to have two-way communications almost telepathically, right?
Well, like what it kind of makes me think is of AI forming these sort of what you could consider a demonic entity, right? Because it's not human, but it's thinking on its own. But then if you go back to that second point, because as I was thinking it, Saxon pointed out in the chat that there's a whole New World Order plot to make Christians think that there's a pre-tribulation rapture, and it involves this thing called this series called Left Behind, which is being it's being like, what do you call it, rebooted by Hercules there, Kevin Sorbo. They're rebooting it all, and like that is a big part of modern I call it strip mall Christianity. It's a lot of this like mega church.
That sounds like Christian Zionism once again.
Yeah, 100%.
They want to move the third temple, or have the third temple built in Israel, and they 100%. Want the Moshiach to come, because then there's going to be the rapture. And you just have to think of how deranged these Christians are, if that's what they think. No,
they've had their minds kind of like usurped from them. It's this Left Behind movie it came out, I think, in the 80s. It was like 3 different movies or 4 different movies. It was a whole series, and it just brought out this terrible theology that like pretty much the whole Bible Belt believes now. And a lot of like you'll find like inner city Christians, they believe this stuff. They go to their little Sunday morning rock concert, and then they like listen to their Masonic pastor preach about this stuff. And then it's like, ugh. And that's where it's leading us, man. That's where it's leading us to this whole Project Bluebeam crap. Is there's a lot of useless idiots that they need love. So they go to these churches and they just get led astray. And it's, you know, a lot of this stuff. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Just to veer the topic, just to wrap up the aliens thing. Yeah, Christian Zionism, silly, fucking all this, these New World, or I think it's not just that. There's a lot of them all coalescing, and they all have they're all connected to the main power source, which does want this one world religion, right? This New World Order. But as far as the aliens, I don't think aliens would be visiting us in this way where we could shoot down like some fucking thing idling in the sky, like 40,000 feet up.
No, it's going to be a 6 foot. It's going to be a 6'8" dude saying that he has the spirit of an alien in him, and that alien's from a different dimension, not from a different planet. He's from a dimension in between here and heaven, and he's here to tell you what God has to tell you. That's what they're going to end up doing if they like give us aliens, right?
But that's them giving you fake aliens, though, right? Yeah. With technology, I'm saying
because they believe that crap.
I'm saying if real aliens were to come, like actually, they would have to be so intelligent that I think they would have had to have mastered AI and done it in a way so that they didn't destroy themselves when they mastered it, and they were able to come from like millions of miles or light years away and be able to visit us. And then that's a lot of requirements and necessities.
Well, so tell me this,
for them to get here.
Who built the
right?
pyramids? Who built the pyramids?
Unless it's those reptilian bloodline aliens that David Icke somehow is the guy who figured it all out. But I don't know if that's the case.
Right, because that's where things gets really weird, is who built the pyramids, and you start to get into the whole like idea that maybe there was some sort of other hominid or humanoid or
right. Well, like you were saying, it could be if it is real, it could be interdimensional, where it's somehow living simultaneously amongst us, but it's of a different thing than matter, right? Because you think of something like dark matter composes of like 90% of the mass of the universe, and we can't interact with dark matter, so maybe it's something like that, right?
Like there's let's
anyways,
I can keep going on with this. There's all the different religions have this, right? They all have this concept of something more powerful than us coming to the world, intermingling with us, leaving behind a bigger, more powerful version of us. You know, it's strange, man. This stuff just gets my mind going.
Well, Edward Snowden has an easier explanation. He says, it's not aliens. I wish it were aliens, but it's not aliens. It's the old engineer panic and attractive nuisance ensuring national security reporters get assigned to investigate balloon bullshit rather than budgets or bombings, a la Nord Stream. Until next time.
Yeah.
So I think he 100%, got it.
Yeah, that makes a big amount of sense right there.
Pretty much what we're saying. Yeah. And then an unusually based take from none other than Canada's Tom Green. Now,
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Tom Green.
Yeah, I thought he was going to have a cringe take on something like this because, you know, if you've seen his anti-Trump song, it was really cringe. But Tom Green is a really funny guy, one of the funniest Canadians alive, I think. And here's what he had to say about it.
Hi, I'm Tom Green, and forgot to mention the other reason this UFO information is coming out now is because they're trying to distract us all from the fact that we're about to get released the Epstein Island list, as well as what's going on in Palestine, Ohio, with the train derailment and the chemical release of chemicals into the air, which is being called possibly as bad as Chernobyl, and the fact that World War III might be about to start in the Ukraine war between USA, Russia, and China. So that's what's going on. Good to see you guys. Hope you guys are having a great day. There's UFOs.
So yeah, pretty spot on. The only thing that I would add is that they're trying to distract from Nord Stream pipeline bombing revelations as well. And like I was saying before, Seymour Hersh, Pulitzer Prize winner, I think he's like 85 years old now. But like, you know, he was a trusted name, and he had revealed, so he got his most accolades like decades ago. But then in more recent times, he's cracked some bombshell stories, like Osama bin Laden was not killed in the way that the Obama government has said. Like, they made a big thing that, like, oh, Obama went and ordered the killing of Osama bin Laden, and they threw him in the ocean or some bullshit like that. And he
was
called
he the guy
that
that said it happened years before that or something like that, and they just kept on like.
No, I think it was that Osama bin Laden was still alive in Pakistan. I think that he had some theory like that. But either way, they kind of just started ignoring him after that. But he does have enough clout that, so when you type in Seymour Hersh, you'd think that you would get like fact checks from Reuters, Associated Press, all these different things really clamping down on it. And they would definitely do that if they knew there was no merit to it, because that would be an easy win. But when you type in Seymour Hersh, you don't really get anything. Like news, you get Countercurrents, Coda Stories.
Oh, wow.
Tablet Magazine, First Post. So these aren't like typical mainstream media websites at all. And it's like anywhere from like today to 6 or 7 days ago. There is a media blackout on this. I think New York Post was one of the only ones that I could find that was a more recognizable name. And even they got censored when they tried to break the Hunter Biden laptop story. So even they're a bit edgy. But yeah, you see it. He had to release it on Substack, but it's got a lot of views there. But anyways, the main points of it were that in June 2022, under the cover of a military training exercise, the U.S. Navy placed explosives on the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines that were carrying gas from Russia to Germany, and then they were remotely detonated on September 26th. So they had a team of like Navy divers. I think they were training in Panama before. Like they recruited them from there. And Joe Biden, Anthony Blinken, Victoria Nuland, and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan were kind of the main people organizing it. And they got these divers during part of an exercise. I think it was called like Ballot 21, part of a NATO exercise. They got them to go deep dive onto the pipelines and then place mines on them. And at first they wanted them to detonate within 48 hours. So they wanted to have it. So they put them down there, set the timer. 2 days later it explodes. But then I think they got cold feet, and then Biden all of a sudden ordered that he wants to be able to detonate them whenever. So they improvised at the last second and made it so that they put them down there. And then when they wanted to detonate it several months later, they had to get a plane to fly by and then drop something into the water that sent out these sound waves that would then set off a timer to detonate and explode the pipeline. Now this is all insane, like an insane act of war that if America owned up to it at the time, it would basically be World War III. I don't know how this is going to avoid World War III, because now it's coming out that they did this. And I don't know how true the story is. They got caught
with a text, right? I read something months and months ago that basically there was a text that went out that was intercepted in some way, shape, or form from a female minister of some sort, or a female like member of the government in the United States. And she basically got caught saying, "Is it done? Did you do it?" Right after it happened.
I think I heard of something like that.
Yeah. So I assume that's probably part of the article. I never read that article yet, though.
So
probably should. It's historical.
So I read
article.
the whole thing last night. Some other key points were that Norway was a part of it. So they used Norway as like a base almost to kind of plot and plan this. They had planned this well before the war even broke out, because ultimately they do not want Russia to make money from selling this gas to Germany. And also they don't want Germany and the rest of Europe to be able to get gas that's not from the US. So the US is going to lose out on like the global homo American empire, because the U.S. people are not gaining off of this. It's the global homo American empire. They're the ones that are going to be on the outside looking in if Russia gets to sell much, much cheaper gas to Germany, and then Germany could sell that to the rest of Europe. It gets to bypass Ukraine. It would create a new multipolar world order, essentially, and then America will slowly get iced out, and they won't get to just bully their way into everything as usual and make people use their currency. So I'm gonna move to
Sochi if that's the case. I'm moving to Sochi. Nice warm Russian Orthodox chicks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is also just a way to eternally punish Germany.
Yeah, There is the whole angle that they're trying to destroy Europe. That is the Clergy plan angle. There is that angle, and there is the angle that Alex Jones was putting out months and months ago that they're gonna turn the Balkans into a fallout zone that will split the East and the West and create that multipolar like world state, basically. So you'd have your China, Russia over here, and you'd have your United States and Oceania over there, basically. And that's plausible. I could see that happening. I could see them, going nuts and everybody lobbing a bunch of nukes into the Balkans. Like, that makes sense. I couldn't see that happening without a few coming over this way, though, right? Like,
I'm hoping that we'll be isolated over here from these horrible acts of war, right? But
yeah,
I think we have ours coming eventually, right? You see what's going on in
just
Russia.
Look at this picture. Yeah, look at that picture. Right. That's freaky, man. That's freaky. Like, I ain't fighting. I ain't doing it.
Right.
He ain't sending me.
Well, here's the thing. Could you imagine us nowadays, like in Canada or even the U.S., acting like the Russians and Ukrainians do act towards each other when they're in a war? Like, it seems like there's just a greater propensity to violence and, denying each other their humanity. And you see this in the Balkans, too, like in the breaking up of Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
What's the Albanians, the Bosnians, or Serbians, or Croatians?
Yeah.
I just couldn't see that happening, like Americans or Canadians fighting each other like this, even in Western Europe, like nowadays Germany or France. Well, of course, they're not going to be the same either, right? France is going to be something totally different very soon. So
you look at the situation in Yugoslavia as like a snapshot that just kind of happened after the Second World War into our generation, right? But like that happened over the course of hundreds of years. That area balkanized over the course of hundreds of years, right? And like essentially the same thing that's happening in Ontario, where you have all these honeycomb societies, man. Where I'm from in Italy, you can't go town to town without changing dialect, right? It's that's how different it is, right? So, I mean, it's not hard to break up areas like that when it becomes like that. And right now you can't go from one end of Ontario to the other without like a little bit of a culture shock. It is what it is.
Well, I think homogeneity is a key to, higher trust societies, and they have to be in their own way sovereign and able to deal with other cultures in a diplomatic but respectful way. I think that's the key ultimately. But they don't want us to know that because they have this myth of equality, the myth of diversity being our strength. We're in for interesting times. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Now to move on to the next topic.
Yeah, let's do it because that was getting a little heavy for me.
Yeah.
My great-grandfather on my grandmother's side died in the invasion of Yugoslavia. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm not too familiar with every little development of that, though I do have like a really good friend who's Albanian and like an Albanian Kosovo nationalist. And he has his own opinions on NATO that are quite interesting because,
basically, Hitler was like, yo, Mussolini, send your troops over there. And Mussolini was like, okay, will do. And he was promised a bunch of funding. And Hitler pulled that funding and went into Russia at the same time. And it screwed over like the whole, the Italians got just murked.
So they left him hanging.
Like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Because he had his own plans. And Well, moving on to the next topic. Let's take a look to what might be coming our way and bringing hard times upon us. So in Palestine, Ohio, the train derailment caused a huge chemical explosion. We're just starting to find out what all the chemicals were that are burning, creating the dark skies that we see here. We're starting to hear more about all the animals that have died, about people coughing constantly. Yeah, I think we're in for a very slow burn, no pun intended. Of oh my goodness, there's an acid cloud in the sky, Edgy. How are you just like kind of going through this like, so I think we're gonna get a little burnt here. This is freaky shit, bud. There's an acid cloud in the sky.
It was sunny over here where I am now, so it hasn't affected me personally yet. But
Dude,
I think
it's closer than it is to me.
Cancer is a slow burn. So here, let's just this video I thought was pretty funny. You know that meme of Grandpa Simpson where it's just like old man yelling at clouds? This is like literally the personification of this. Now I need to go to the washroom quick, so I'll just play this for the whole 2 minutes. Warning about language. I don't think I need to do a language warning, but I'll do it anyways.
These aren't storm clouds. This is the fucking shit that they burn off, the fucking shit they burn off in East Palestine. This is not fucking storm clouds. Look at it.
I need a drink.
This is over Darlington. This is their fucking success.
Oh, gosh.
That ain't no fucking storm cloud. That's the fucking shit from East Palestine. They're fucking controlled burn.
That's apocalyptic. That is straight up apocalyptic. I don't know what else to say about this. Yeah.
I'm ready. Let's get out of here.
It's freaky, Edgy. I had to have a drink.
I mean,
because this is just south of us, dude.
I would be fucking terrified if I saw this. Now,
Dude,
a lot of
northerly
righteous,
wind, and this is over us.
right? So first off, he has a lot of righteous indignation because he's probably dealt with like these companies, this industrialization from these huge corporations. Now, I believe it's like the company that owns these trains. Like, it's not.
Yeah, Norfolk Southern is what it's called.
Yeah, these are private companies. Norfolk.
That's the way it works in the States, right? The railways are owned by the companies, right? That was like a whole thing in the 1800s where the railroad was like a big way to make money.
Right. The old tycoons.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
They drink your milkshake.
I drink your milkshake.
Exactly. But they're definitely this guy's definitely pissed because he knows how greedy and how much they cut corners. Like these corporations, that they get all these loopholes with the government. So they're trying to sacrifice safety for their profits. And that's the first thing he recognizes when all this shit happens. It's like he knew this was gonna happen. But now they got all this black smoke, this smog. How do you think the wind will take this? Do you think maybe the Chinese balloon was going in, checking the weather conditions to see which way the wind is blowing, to see how this could be used for warfare or something like that?
Well, like you know what, Edgy, I just had a shot and I'm a little loosened up. I'm able to talk about this. This plays into a conversation we've had before. The distribution of evil. All right. There was pamphlets from Antifa about how to derail trains, stuff like that. So let's just say, all right, if some foreign entity wanted to influence a bunch of fucking kids with an issue to derail trains, right? So you got an evil foreign entity, but now you need some evil kid to take up that mantle, right? So it has to be distributed in a way that it works out. And right now, because we've lived through so many years of degeneracy, there's ample choice, there's a lot of people who will take up that mantle.
Right. So it's kind of like a call to arms in a very vague sense, and then this ultimately happens at the hands of Antifa or something like that. Now, I don't think this was Antifa. Like, what? Unless they were trying to be like accelerationists or something, I don't see why they would.
There's a chance that it was like corporate sabotage, right? There's a chance that it was all sorts of different things. Like, why would they burn it off like this? For profits? Like, to save profits? That doesn't make sense. That's a massive disaster.
So my guess of what happened is that they cut a bunch of corners. There was the trains got derailed. It happened that they had all these chemicals in it. They exploded. They didn't know how to control it. They didn't know how to put it out. So now they're like kind of controlling it. So if they're gonna do a controlled burn, they have to direct it somewhere. So somebody's gonna get screwed. And they're trying to divert as much attention away from it as possible and downplay it. Because going down the line, there are people who are going to get like hurt almost immediately. People are going to get displaced. Their water is going to be poisoned. Their food's going to be poisoned. Their farmlands are going to be destroyed. Water supplies. The people are going to develop cancers and other kind of maladies because of this.
It still goes to say that self-interest plays into this, right? That self-interest and evil, straight up evil, right? It plays into this because the only reason you would make a decision to do something like this. Oh, what's that?
Was that you?
I don't know.
Oh, no, I think that was a super chat.
Oh,
so
cool.
I put widgets on entropy and it was sketching out and I didn't know if it was working. So I guess that was a super chat. It just beeps for 1 second. Like, All right.
Like,
well,
okay, so you need a shitty CEO, you need shitty train workers, you need shitty cleanup crew, and they all have to make this decision consciously to be shitty people and do a shitty thing to a bunch of people, right? It's still distribution. It's still a bunch of assholes doing shitty things.
I agree with shitty assholes and evil. I do agree with your theory. Essentially, it's always good to look at it from different perspectives, and because it uncovers different elements of it, right, and it helps you put together a bigger picture. Now, what I'm interested in is the fact that they're trying to downplay it, obviously, and that is because people are going to get really sick. They're going to want to sue the government, and they're going to want to sue the companies, whoever is responsible for it. They're gonna want to be compensated for the suffering, for the death, for all the destruction that has gone on. And if the government, the media, the companies admit it at all, then that's opening themselves up to completely getting fucked, right? So it's just like the COVID jabs. They don't want to admit that it hurts anybody. They want to kind of gatekeep what is considered a vaccine injury as much as possible, so that they don't have to pay out, they don't have to listen to people, they don't have to be responsible for their actions.
It plays right into that whole Great Reset thing, where, because that's a very fertile area of America, right? Like, you know, we got a lot of agriculture in this area, and it's a very similar area. Ohio is very like similar to Ontario.
Well, what if they poisoned it? Now that it's poisoned, then Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or whoever comes in and says, well, this land is fucked. You're not going to get anything out of it. You should probably just take our buyout. Now, we'll take it over, but we can't grow anything, so we have to synthesize everything, whether it's with GMO seeds or just completely synthetic meat and synthetic farming. I think that's part of the whole plan too, right? Now, sorry, I want to get to a super chat. Thank you, Al Stern, for the $30 super chat. Let's give him a bit of an applause here. Al Stern has been a great supporter to the show, and he has $30 too. That's awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
He says BlackRock and Vanguard are the two main shareholders on that railway. Yes, I heard that too. And he says props to Pete for the bigot bounce as well. Awesome. Yeah, awesome song, man. But what are you saying about BlackRock and Vanguard? You know that they're not going to allow themselves to be held responsible, or anybody who's under their wing, unless they're going to use them as a patsy. So
yeah. I mean, they're the new oligarchs, right? They're the new kings and queens of the universe.
And they're going to be the ones who will scoop up the land too. And he says props to Pete. Now, when I saw that, I was thinking, Pete Buttigieg? Pete Buttigieg?
No, that's my name. That's my name.
Yeah, because his name has been going around. He is the Minister of Transport, the Department of Transport. Yeah, the DOT.
I learned.
So he's the head of the Department of Transport, and from what I know about him is that he allows jobs in the states that he has ran before to go get exported to different countries. And meanwhile, he says he's bringing freedom to everybody, which is basically just gay marriage and other iterations of like abortion, gay marriage, all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, he's fleecing the economy and all the wages of people in order to prosper big businesses. So, of course, he makes a speech today. He doesn't even mention this Ohio disaster. Even though he is the head of the Department of Transport, he has nothing to say about this. Instead, what he does have to say is that white workers are stealing people of color's jobs, because he knows that these white people don't live in this neighborhood, so why are they taking the jobs? Quite an interesting thing to say.
It just doesn't make sense anymore, the way that they pick on white people. It doesn't. It's like, guys, calm down. Like, I can't even... there's not much you can say about it past that. It's just like, it's getting obvious. It's like, This is like Jim Crow levels of racism, like against white people for what?
It's funny because I used to think, oh, they're doing that because they're trying to distract people with social issues in order to fleece the economy or whatever else. However, I'm realizing that no, they're doing it because they're inverting all that is good. They're also using it as a distraction to fleece the economy, but they're also destroying everything. Like abortion does matter. Allowing gay marriage, especially to proliferate into what we're seeing now, transgenderism being pushed upon kids. It was all meant to go that way from the beginning.
They are purposely doing this. It's because they want to change who the nation is. All right. They call it, they want to get you on white replacement theory. They want to make that a soundbite, but demographic change is happening. You can't deny it. It's happening.
That's why I say demographic change.
Well, because that's the truth.
Yeah,
it's the truth in every way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. The boomers are dying, so the ages of industry is changing. The millennials aren't replacing. The Gen Xers didn't replace enough, and the labor shortage is a line they used since 1972 as it's like a way to. Yeah, no, I get yay, super chat.
What's supposed to happen? What's supposed to happen is Ben Shapiro is supposed to rub his hands together on screen.
I'll do it. I got the notes.
Yeah. There we go. Now it's a super chat. What's supposed to happen on Entropy is that Ben Shapiro comes on, rubs his hand together, then it has the thing on for like 10 seconds, and then it has some robot reading out the super chat. But instead, it's just beeping it on for like less than a second. But I believe that's another super chat. So
they are essentially making it so that people with the ability, the generational wealth, and the ability to have upward advancement in the economy, they're stripping it from them, and they're using prejudice. That's how they're doing it. That's what's happening. That's why they're going after white people.
They're destroying upward mobility because they see who has the intellectual spirit and both the intellectual and the creative spirit to challenge their authority. And
that's
they're
why
nipping in the butt.
People can be white supremacists now. That's why you can be an Arab dude with a turban on and be called a white supremacist now. It's just it has nothing to do with the color of people's skin. It's people who want personal sovereignty, agency, the ability to move up in life. That's it. That's all it is. And I guess they've identified that with the Christian ethos. And now they're gonna turn Christianity into like a fascism sort of thing. Mm-hmm. They're gonna and it's gonna be a fight. I'm down. Like I'm not gonna go anywhere to do the fight, but if they bring the fight to me, I'm down. I'm totally down.
Based.
Like,
okay, I'm gonna leave it at that because if I respond to that, we'll never get into the next thing. There's so much you could say about that, but I'm gonna sort of read this super chat. Hyphen, or those are hyphens, right? Yeah, hyphen for a big $15. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says vinyl chloride tanker sat on a wall. Vinyl chloride tanker had a big fall. All of the bureaucrats and alphabet men did nothing at all, and everyone died of cancer.
Oh, shit.
Do I have a womp, womp, womp?
Womp, womp.
No, that was a dun-dun. It works, though. More of a dun-dun-dun than a womp, womp. But, no, yeah, that is very true. Everyone's going to die of cancer. People are going to get long COVID from it. Maybe there'll be a return of COVID. Who knows?
Oh, I'm just going to make sure this mutes real quick because I want to check the entropy chat too. Oh, okay. Perfect. Cool.
Well, have you seen the, yeah, you definitely sent me a thing about this, the predictive programming movie that they released last year on Netflix. Well, first of all, we have how it's affecting people in Canada. I just want to make the Canada connection quickly. They're saying this is more than Ohio. I'm across the Lake Erie in southern Ontario, Canada by Niagara Falls. So
Yeah.
pray for our friends in Niagara Falls. I know some are watching.
Isn't that like
this
Rob
person,
Primo?
yeah, and a few other people don't want to dox. But this person says, me and my family have had nonstop headaches for about 7 days straight now. We could literally smell the chlorine over here in Canada.
Yeah, man.
And the world is big. If people are smelling it all the way from there, there is a fucking problem.
This one freaks me out more than the aliens, the balloons, even World War III. Honestly, this thing here is a little more immediate, and it freaks me out because all we need is a good northerly wind, which is possible in winter. You know.
Well, it's also like a silent killer too. It's like getting the jab. You never know when you're just gonna have a heart attack, or like it increases the likelihood. So you never know when like the time bomb might go off. You never know when the cancer cells might get activated because you inhaled all these carcinogens.
But like the Americans have south. They can go all the way south, right? Where are we gonna go? Everybody's gonna crowd into the north. Like
they could go to Nunavut, okay?
Yeah.
I'm staying here. So this is the movie on Netflix that has the exact same plot in Ohio. All the world's a stage.
Let's watch a sitcom or something.
No! They're calling it the airborne toxic event.
They won't come this way.
Will we have to leave our home?
Of course not.
How do you know?
I just know.
Okay, what if it's dangerous?
Evacuate all places of residence.
We have a situation.
You know, your classic quirky chemical explosion evacuation movie.
Yeah, it's too creepy for me right now, man. Maybe it's because I had that drink, but like I'm really tripping out about this. They're really fucking with us. Like that's literally and exactly what just happened. So is art imitating life, or are they fucking with us? I think they're fucking with us. Like,
yeah. Well, I don't know what to think.
Great reaction, but like
maybe they knew this was gonna happen. Maybe they planned it. Maybe it's more common than we think. Either way, it's not fucking good. But anyways, let's switch up topics here. Sorry, you want to say any? You want to say any last things about all these disasters that are going on, all the distractions, and maybe we'll read the chat for a bit. Then I want to get on to a new topic.
Yeah. No, all I gotta say is that it's way too uncanny, man. And it's that is the one thing that's freaking me out right now. I'm like, World War III, okay, whatever, man. I'll watch that in my onesie. Freaking like everything else, I'm like, okay, balloons, cool. But this acid cloud, it's a cloud of acid, dude. It's a cloud of acid.
Yeah, it's not good. Well,
no.
In the Rebel chat, we have someone saying, vote DILF or don't.
No,
no,
vote
really fun.
lit party.
Vote clouds or balloons. So it's good people are using Rumble. Odyssey, it seems like this guy is not a bot because he responded to what I said about him and he says, it's what's happening. Okay. And we got YouTube and Entropy going.
Lee, I'm paranoid.
Don't buy food in the grocery store from Ohio. Yeah. And don't drink their fucking water anywhere near the Ohio River. I'm going back to bottled water, so, you know, I'm going to have to learn how to reverse osmosis the water so it gets all the crap out of it. You know, they're putting chemicals in the water to make the freaking frogs gay or whatever. But you can't really win if you're not putting in enough effort, because if you drink the tap water, you're going to catch the gay. And if you drink the plastic bottled water here, you're going to catch cancer. Now, personally, I'd rather catch the cancer than the gay. But there's going to be more than gay in that tap water going forward. There's gonna be
I had my friend
cancer
come
and
by.
gay. What?
I had my friend come by and do this little like water particulate test. And I'll tell you, that'll blow your mind. They show you the fluoride. They show you all this stuff, and like they put these drops in there that turn all the little particulates into goo, so you can see it. Yeah, it's in there, man. Those crazy people talking about like it turning your pineal gland calcified and stuff. I bet you they're right because they were right about it being in there.
Right. And I guess that just makes you more brain fogged, less creative, less sharp, more docile, less testosterone. I could see all that. Well, speaking of having less testosterone, let's get into the Battle of Billings Bridge. Now, I didn't even remember this happening during the convoy. Apparently, Antifa blocked a bunch of trucks from coming into the main part of the convoy, and this happened maybe like a week or so before the convoy was shut down by the state troopers, the stormtroopers of the state.
I saw a video of it, and I swear the video itself smelt like mothballs. Like, yeah, it was like there was another video of them like marching down the street. Whose streets? Our streets. But they all had masks on, so it was more like,
sorry, can't hear you. Right?
Yeah, louder.
I was there for the first weekend and then the last weekend, like as it was getting shut down. I just missed all the beatings. I was like collecting videos of the beatings and creating propaganda to spread around.
Yeah.
Propaganda in a way, in a good way, to show what was actually happening, obviously, right?
Propaganda.
Yeah, I like that. But I didn't remember this at all. I think these guys are overstating their importance. Like, I was reading threads by Antifa of what this meant to them, and they think this was like the moment everything changed, and the police started beating, like cracking down on the convoy after this. I don't remember this. I barely remember Antifa's presence. Most people were nice when I was there. There was maybe a few SJWs who would like yell from their windows because they saw us wearing red hats, and then would yell back at them. But everything was pretty peaceful and especially joyous when I was there, right? Unless you maybe saw a CBC reporter, you'd laugh at them and call them fake news. Other than that, it wasn't, a Ram Ranch resistance is not doing as much as they think they are. Well, let's read what they said. The Ram Ranch resistance members peacefully stood in the way of those who had trampled citizens' rights to peace-free movement and free expression. Now, that is the most ironic line. First off, trampled citizens' rights. Meanwhile, as old ladies are getting trampled in the streets by police horses. Second of all, peace, free movement. I mean, the unvaxxed can go into a restaurant. Free expression. People are getting put in jail for like hate speech now, or for telling people to come to an event to peacefully protest. I don't know where they get off with this amount of irony.
How much do you think this fucking plaque cost to make? I'm gonna say like in between like 3 and 5.
I mean, I'm not well versed in the creation of plaques, but I think there's probably somebody with the city who sanctioned it, who commissioned it, right?
You think it was like an inside job? Because they said it wasn't the city that did it, and it had nothing to do with the city. It was just like a piece of guerrilla art. But you think it was like an inside job with like some like feminist weirdo in the city that was like, I'll go sneak and get the template for you. Like, how does this happen?
Who is that lesbianic woman who ran for, I think it was mayor of Ottawa?
Oh, the Colonel Sanders looking woman.
yeah. I think she had something to do with it. That's just my hunch. But anyways, Ram Ranch resistance. Now, I think it was this article. It like does a puff piece on how cool this Ram Ranch resistance was. First off, what is Ram Ranch? But
it doesn't sound good.
Okay, no, it's this article. So
gonna type that in.
they're
no.
The Ottawa Citizen is fawning over how good of an idea this was, how like edgy this is, how a gay cowboy song became an anti-convoy anthem. So I guess this guy's from Canada, and he's a male porn star, among other things. And
is it that Kobe guy?
No, his name's Grant McDonald. He's from Toronto. And
oh yeah. He's a cowboy from Toronto.
Yeah, first of all, this is a meme that was popular among like right-wing streamers, and people would donate to play this song as like a media donation. So when you'd walk around, like it would either be something like somebody yelling the N-word as media that plays while you're out on the town doing your in real life stream, and then you have to survive while there's a speaker yelling the N-word. And you have to,
I've seen that before.
You can't cheat the donations, right? Or else your audience will get mad at you and they'll stop donating, and they want to see you get in trouble. So then people would also play this Ram Ranch song. So what is it?
Kind of looks like Chris Guy with a goatee and like hair.
I don't know, man.
Right?
I don't see the resemblance. Maybe if he showed his teeth and he had like a full fake set of dentures.
He totally looks like Chris Guy.
Hold on, that's the wrong one. Where's the Ram Ranch song?
Get that out of here.
My bad. I didn't mean that. So yeah. This is what Antifa is celebrating.
18 naked cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big herd throbbing cocks wanting to be sucked. 18 naked cowboys wanted to be fucked. Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch on their knees wanting to suck cowboy cocks. Ram Ranch really rocks.
So this is what Antifa is all about. Guys, come on. You're either on the side of truckers or you're over there at Ram Ranch sucking cowboy cocks or whatever else. Pick a side. Pick a side, normie. Pick a side.
It's just terrible. It's just terrible.
Boys out in the yard. Big bulging cocks ever so hard. Orgy in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big herd throbbing cocks. Ram and cowboy butt.
Okay, I'm just gonna play this whole song so I could bait for donations to get me to stop.
Like a breed
There's only 6 more minutes.
Wanting to rut.
Okay,
Big herd throbbing.
We got a super chat, so we can end it.
Yeah. 1488. Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck, guys?
So we have almost $15 from hyphen again. Thank you so much. He's saying
almost $15.
Yeah. He's saying looking forward to seeing a massive Twitter thread from Tony with clips of the stream showcasing how based you both are again. In other news, Chris Guy posted his phone number on IG. Give him a call.
I wish I had my phone set up, or else I totally would, dude. I'd do it right now. But I haven't had my phone set up.
Okay. Well, I don't know what I would say to him. I'm actually all for Chris Guy running for mayor. I know my buddy called him as soon as he put out his number, and then he just got into a shouting match. And Chris Guy told him that he's a low T beta.
Oh yeah. That was Pebbles, wasn't it? And Pebbles, he was like, "Fuck you, Chris Guy," like all over Instagram. I was like, "This is great. Call him out, bud. Go." Wasn't it?
Sorry, say that again. I'm just reading the chat. What people are saying about Chris Guy.
Oh, it was Pebbles, wasn't it? Wasn't it Pebbles that was calling him out, calling him like a bitch or something like that?
Yeah, Pebbles. Like, what did Pebbles do?
It's Shane. Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
But normally I have a phone, and I can just because it's like plugged into the mixer and whatnot, and I'd be able to just feed it in like my microphone. But I with my new audio setup, I don't know if I could do that right now, and my phone's not even charged, and I don't even know if the number. I'd probably have to reset it. It's been months, people. It's been months. I've had face surgery.
Well, anyways, I'm not gonna call Chris Sky right now, though. That could be funny. I don't know what I'd say to him. I don't have like a vitriol for Chris Sky to call him like a gay retard or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you know what? I don't hate him. I think they used him at the beginning of the whole thing. And I think it's really curious that he still has access to his bank account and Rage doesn't. I think that's it. That's all, like, I think that they definitely propped him up in the media to be like, look, you don't want to be like this guy. He's the anti-vaxxer, anti-masker guy, and he's a belligerent dude. And you don't want to be lumped in with this guy and his bad optics, right? So he got pushed, right? But it's just, yeah, I find it really curious that he still has access to his bank account and Jeremy is being debanked.
Well, I think part of them going after one person at a time is that, it shows this kind of distrust. It's like, well, you still have your YouTube channel. Oh, well, you still have your 5th Twitter account.
Yeah.
It kind of shows that discord. He may have had his bank account shut. No, I think he would have grifted it. I think he would have grifted it pretty hard by now if he did. Somebody like Queen Romano Digilo wouldn't even have a bank account at all because that would almost definitely be shut down because she's always running scams, right?
She's not only running scams, but she's making like actual criminal threats in public and stuff like that. And like, it just doesn't make sense that she hasn't been like just locked up, but like, then you have her website going to like the donation page. It has to be mentioned every time you mention her. Her donations go to the Liberal Party of Canada. That's what it says on her website, or said at one point.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. I don't know what to think about her. I think she's just got a grift going on. And anyways, let's see what's going on with Antifa in Hungary. Now, in Canada, they're pretty lame. But in Hungary, I guess they have this like annual event.
Context.
Pardon? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Where apparently Hungary was involved with Germany in World War II, and there was some kind of battle that they're commemorating, and then people from all around Europe come and congregate at these unofficial events in Hungary. And this time around, Antifa was like lurking around, stalking people, trying to pick out people who they think were nationalists to go and beat them down in the street. So here's one angle of their assaults.
Jeez.
So it's like at least 8 or 9 people, and it's interesting, like even half of them are women. They have viper sticks.
And they're beating them because they're nationalists.
Yeah. I think this guy in particular, they asked him, one woman came up to him at first and asked him if he was like this or that person. And he said, no, I'm just a guy going to work. And they didn't believe him, so now they just beat the shit out of him and then pepper sprayed him. It seems like they're so unintimidating, though, that even like these old women are just like, hey, what's going on here?
No, people are out there a little more, they'll, hey, what's going on a little more than we will. A little more close quarters in Europe.
Right.
Shops are right on the street sort of thing.
Oh, wow. One of the videos has been removed for violent or graphic content.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, you can't even you can't even archive a crime there. That's why Twitter is good for having these videos stay up so you could see what's happening to people. Or else they would have completely wiped out a lot of the violence that's happening to white people, right? They would have censored that if it wasn't for places like Twitter that allow it.
Yeah. There's a strange thing on the internet, though, eh? It's there's this weird thing, and it has to do a lot with 4chan culture, where you see that a lot of these videos are used as a way to drum up a bit of a cortisol spike, right? So you got to be careful how much you're ingesting of this, and in what context. This is fine because this is like something that happened over the weekend, right? So this is like, yeah, okay, this is news, but there's a lot of these. There's a lot, like, we know that literally every day there is a rape of some, poor German or Norwegian or, by a migrant. It happens literally every day. And there's a story about it in Ireland or in England or in Germany every freaking day. We know it, but how much should we be ingesting of this stuff? How much, of your day do you want to spend just in case tomorrow you're driving into work and you get T-boned? How much today do you want to spend spiking your cortisol?
Well, I feel like it's necessary to wake people up about the urgency of what's going on, for one.
Oh, like this, right? This is the news. This right here is the news, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is
like,
the
I
news.
get what you're saying, that it's like kind of a culture of trying to enrage people, but you gotta do something to wake them up. Unfortunately, it won't hit home to people unless it happens to them, and even half of them will be like, I forgive my rapist and I'm gonna let them live with me and then kill me later or something. Like, they'll go to great lengths to, be politically correct, even when it's right in their face. But some people will wake up.
Yeah.
For example, in Ireland, it seems like they are having a more successful grassroots uprising. Like, thousands of people are in the streets specifically rallying against mass migration. Now, we don't even see anything like that in Canada. Like, we got a ton of people together for the anti-COVID stuff, which was great. But a lot of these people are, like, hippie-ish, and they are of the mind that, like, oh, race isn't real and we're all just one. So, they'd be against something like critical race theory, but they don't realize that they're being, that there's a demographic change going on that's being forced.
Bro, I'm not even British, and like, I find it incredibly tragic to look at the pictures comparing, I think it's Birmingham. There's one picture that shows all the soldiers leaving for, I think it was World War I. And then it shows modern day where it's lined, the streets are lined with, people from the Middle East praying like Muslim prayers or something like that. And listen, I got nothing against them specifically, but it's like, what about the British people? I like tea, and we call them munja cakes because, like, they got a culture to them that's their own. And what about the Irish people who are dealing with this? Why not foster their culture? Why not foster, the different little cultures across, like, Europe? What's so bad about them? And why are we supposed to ignore the fact that they are under attack? Why is it a bad thing to point out that, the Irish are being attacked right now by their foreign policy, by their immigration policy? Why is it a bad thing to point that out, that the Germans can't even go outside in some places? Like, in France, there's no-go zones and stuff like that. Why is it a bad thing to say this? Like, those cultures are beautiful, and they're what made up Canada to begin with. And they're like, it makes no sense that makes you a bad person to point that out.
Well, diversity only goes one way. I think we all realize that. Diversity is a code for anti-white. That's basically what they're trying to push at the end of the day.
I think that kind of dilutes it further, right? Because, like, it's not just anti-white. It's like anti-Irish, anti-British, anti-German, anti-Italian, anti-French. And it's these really rich cultures.
Right. Yeah, white is just like a collective, like a placeholder for all Europeans. But each individual European ethnicity and homeland is going to be individually decimated in its own way.
Yeah, and it's tragic, and I find it extremely offensive that it's sad to notice this. You know, I love these different cultures. I came like, you know, I grew up learning to love all these different cultures because my family was an immigrant family, and that was like a part of being a Canadian, was learning to love all these different cultures. And now, like, what is this? What is this? Come on.
I hadn't really identified with any past European ethnicities that I came from. Now, would have, if you go back far enough, I think my family on almost all sides, like grandfather and grandmother, on both my parents' sides, they basically all go back to France, coming over from France at the end of the 1600s. So they basically touched down into Quebec right before 1700, which I think is pretty,
you don't get much
awesome.
more Canadian than that, dude. You don't get much more Canadian than that. Yeah.
I find it hard to, be specific. Like, I'm not from France, so I don't identify with like the nation of France really. But seeing what's happening all around Europe and in North America, like, it makes you appreciate your heritage, your lineage much more. And you have to think of like the biospirit that's behind that, and think that that's something that's worth passing your lineage on.
Well, so Edgy, you got to remember that what we're dealing with here is language. Okay, this all comes down to language, and we didn't hear that phrase labor shortage. Okay, in Canada, all right, Canada's been around for a little while, all right, and we didn't hear that phrase until 1972. Okay, and that was a direct result of 1969. Okay, remember Trudeau Sr., what he was famous for? The state has no place in the bedrooms of the nation. That was for Bill 150. Okay, and that was the one where they legalized sodomy and abortion, and I think it was the pill on Mother's Day or the day before. Okay, and then 3 years later, they say, hey, we can't replace our population. We need to open up the floodgates. Right? And that's what happened. That's what happened to Canada, right? And that was the subversion of Canada. When Trudeau Sr. finally did that, that was the linchpin. Demoralization began, right? Because listen, a nation, in order to be a nation, it needs an ethos. It needs a central ethos. You cannot, multiculturalism, it's a failed experiment. We're seeing it happen right now. The division in our country is a result of it. It's sad. It's sad because I don't resent any individual ethnicity or race. It's sad because we're not blending, we're not. We're fighting. And it's a result of this terrible, anti-Christian ethos policy, right? When they brought in that bill in the late 60s and liberalized Canada, they destroyed our parents, my parents' generation. I don't know what your parents' generation is, but they destroyed that generation of the 70s. They destroyed their lives. The amount of people that ended up, on crack and cocaine and all that throughout the 70s, and the amount of Italian dudes that you see it all the time. These people are ruined and they're in their late 50s, right? That all started because of this, the infiltration of the Liberal Party, right? And that was a Fabian thing. That was the Fabian socialists.
Fabian. Okay, so are you talking about how they originally started in the NDP? And then they found that the NDP was not palatable for, doing their New World Order change of Canada that they wanted. So then they instead went and infiltrated the Liberal Party, and then they used that with people like Pierre Trudeau, who was
did that with Pierre Trudeau. They did that with Pierre Trudeau, and that was Those are the Fabians. Okay, so the word Fabian comes from a military strategy that was used in Rome to use the mechanisms of the state in order to defeat that state, right? And so that's basically what was implemented in Canada. And it's a really convoluted subject. A man that does a really good job on this is Jay Dyer. He's recently been going into the Fabian Milner conspiracy, like really, really deeply. And it's important to know this stuff because it points out how there was a connection between the intelligence agencies like the CIA and the Mossad and the MI6, I think is it the British Secret Service, right? And they like, it goes into some pretty interesting stuff, but that's how this all happened. You know, they subverted our culture, right? And so what you were talking about, you know, you're saying, you know, your family got here in the 1600s, you said the late 1600s. Well, that affects you and your culture, your identity specifically. Okay. Because that's, you know, like that was your culture coming to fruition. You know, you guys got here first, man. I just got here in the 50s. The welfare state wasn't here yet. So I don't claim any blame to any of this stuff because my grandfather got here before the welfare state. Hey,
does that mean that I could treat you like I'm like I'm a senior in high school, so we get to sit at the back of the bus?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, sure. I'll let you. But I still call you guys munja cakes. All right.
Okay.
I still call you guys munja
you're
cakes.
like a grade 10 student who's like maybe like 2/4 of the way up the bus. So
sure,
you're inching your way back. Yeah. No, I'm not 100% with like a hierarchy of we were here first. Like, no, you know, like a meritocracy, but when you're changing the fundamental cornerstones of the demographics of a society, I think the biggest things are ethnicity, religion, culture, values.
Well, bro, all those things are related. They're all the same thing. The word ethnicity, okay, ethic, all right, ethos, right? Do you know what ethos means? Right. So Aristotle had his persuasions. OK, the first one was the faculty of logic. All right. Everybody's supposed to have this. The second one's your faculty of ethic, character. And your third one is your faculty of passion. Now, there's a line of thinking that's saying that this is logos, ethos, pathos, and it maps on to the Christian philosophy of Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Okay, so another way of saying it is like reason, ethic, character, or passion, right? So ethnicity comes from that character, comes from that concept of character, right? And values. And in order to form a nation, right? So I have a set of values that are copacetic with my neighbors, right? And there's and all over, we all have to form this set of values. And what I'm trying to explain is that set of values was interrupted, right? In the late 60s. It was being formed. And now we have what's called multiculturalism and tolerance. Tolerance isn't a value. Anybody that does fabrication, any type of construction, any type of building knows that tolerance is the antithesis of value. It is the amount you can be off before being wrong, right? So if you extend the amount of tolerance one culture has, it just means that they're okay with being wrong, right?
But however, tolerance, when you're tolerating other worldviews, that's something that we generally like to think that we have, as with kind of the libertarian mindset. We like to, or when we're promoting something like free speech, we got to be tolerant of what other people are saying, at least enough to not shut it down with the law.
Yeah, it's yeah, I
so
guess it's complex, right?
It can be a value,
I guess it's
but
complex,
right? Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's I guess it's in the context that it's implemented. It's strange, right? Like how do you parse a subject like this? Because it's clear that this multiculturalism experiment failed, right? It's clear, right?
What
So,
I like when you have a country when it has its citizens, like when it was homogenous, we could tolerate things and we could let people have freedoms. But the more people you bring who are going to have conflict with everybody, you're going to lose all those things that made it great.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there was something beautiful forming in Canada. You know, it was in Europe, there was always that sort of partition between the North and the South. And Canada was kind of bringing that together in a big way. You know, and that got blown apart when they implemented demoralization and kind of made it like I think it was in the 60s even when the French disassociated from the Catholic Church. Was it the 60s or the 1860s? I can't remember, but it's like there was all these things they did in Canada to make it so that like Christian values were like not cool.
Were taken away from being as integral as they were with the state, right? I think, well, in Quebec, don't they have it so that you can't wear religious symbols if you're in government? But now they're trying to take that away and make it so that you can have it because Muslims are coming in and they want to wear their niqabs or their hijabs or whatever, right?
I think it was they wanted the past premier tried to implement that. I think I'm not too sure.
So it hasn't been a thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Anyways, bud, what's next? We keep on getting deep, bro. We keep on getting deep. What's the chat up to?
Let's see. Who is Jay Dyer? Someone's asking that. Maybe you could answer.
Jay Dyer does the 4th hour on InfoWars on Fridays. He is a human encyclopedia, and he's pretty awesome. You should check him out. He does a lot of Orthodox theology, which is I kind of vibe with that more. So I grew up half like Catholic and then like half Pentecostal, like back and forth between those two churches. Different Sundays I would go to different churches, and it kind of made me like really short circuit on religion. And then Orthodox theology helped me come back to it, and it all kind of intertwines with Greek theology, or sorry, Greek, not theology, philosophy. And you should listen to him. Jay Dyer, he's a cool guy.
Okay, so
tried to get him on the podcast, but he ignored me twice.
Well, do you want to talk to the chat for a second? I need to take a quick break.
Sure.
Maybe check out the YouTube chat. I'll be right back, and then let's get into some Ye stuff. Well, we got to figure out what is going on with Ye, because he's been missing in action for like 2 months now. We want to see where this is going.
Yeah.
Anyways, here, get at him for a second.
Cool, guys. It's been a while since I've had an audience, and I don't have my OBS set up, so I can't go through a bunch of different links or anything. But it's good to be back in front of the camera. If you're wondering what happened here, those are stitches. Yeah, those are stitches. It was an interesting situation. I had a blemish that had to be removed, and it got removed, right? So it got removed, and it was just like I didn't expect my surgeon to be like a West African chick, and she was like Aunt Jemima, and it was just a great experience. Honestly, it was a great experience. She was so she was so nice, and it was just like so awesome. And I didn't expect that to happen. Yeah. Now I got 2 stitches in my face. Yeah. So when the show comes back, I'll talk about that if you guys are interested. Nobody else got anything to say? Anybody else want to, if you got questions, ask me a question and I'll answer. a question. If not, I'll just talk about what's going on with my show. I am trying to get a second camera. I want to get the same camera that I already have so that I only have to run one driver. I'm going to throw the camera up there and it's going to look down on all my stuff. And then if you've ever seen Ableton push to live loopers, I'm going to do some of that and we're going to like hang out. And that's going to be the new show, basically.
Nice. Shilling the new show.
Yeah,
nice.
like I don't know. Nobody else was talking. So who am I?
Perfect.
I'm Pete. Yeah, anonymous. I'm Pete. I run tofutv.ca.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Edgy's back.
Great content, great songs and music videos, and great live streams, which you used to do before, and now they're coming back. So excited for that. Now let's check out what fucking Ye is doing. This is from more of a tabloid type magazine. It's saying, taking control, Kanye West's new wife, Bianca Censori, interesting name, runs the show, including his daily schedule and all business decisions. So remember, actually the last time we did a stream together was right when Kanye made his first DEFCON 3 tweet. And me and you were like, what the hell is he going to do next? Like, this is pretty crazy. He got suspended off of Twitter, or banned off Twitter, for having a feud with P. Diddy, where he was leaking private messages calling P. Diddy a Fed and saying that he's controlled by Jews. And for doing that, he got censored off of Instagram. And then he took to Twitter to make his famous DEFCON 3 tweet that started this whole storm of events that happened afterwards. But anyways, he links up with Nick Fuentes, announces Yay 2024, makes a whole bunch of controversial statements that accumulate with the Alex Jones appearance. I think we all remember that with the hoodie and the face mask and the
wild.
What was it? The fly swatter? The net. the net.
Net and Yahoo.
Net and Yahoo.
Both a net and a Yahoo.
Well, anyways, he went off with that for a while and then he just kind of disappeared. And it's kind of, we don't really know what's going on with Yay 2024. I've been talking with some people, and we're thinking maybe, that was a manic episode. Now, he has always believed these things, and apparently he has a history of, like, cornering people and going, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then, like, if he feels like he trusts you, he'll, like, push you on all these things that he ended up going public with about, like, recently. So this has been in his head for a while. He didn't just learn about all these things now, but he's definitely taken a deeper dive into the red pill when it comes to this stuff. But now he's been gone for a while. Was he just having a manic episode there that made him want to go very public, saying all these things with like very extreme, arrogant energy that he had? And now he's calm, and now they've got him pacified. Because in mid-November, after breaking up with another girlfriend over his comments about Hitler, he got in with this other chick, and now supposedly they're already married. And I've also heard that like he was a huge sucker for the sex that they were having. I forget where I heard that, but it makes me wonder what is going on here.
He said that was his weakness, that like he had like an addiction, a sex addiction, that, you know, that's how they get him, you know. So what I think's going on, I don't know, man. I think Kanye is not entirely truthful with the public. I think there's something going on behind the scenes that is a little more nefarious. You know, I never bought the whole listen. I love Jesus. I believe Jesus is God, but I never bought his whole Jesus is king thing. I never really, it seemed way too packaged. Something was off about it. And then I saw like a few of his performances, and they had some like rather Masonic like imagery going on there. And I'll be straight up and honest with the chat. My best friend is one of the highest Masons in Ontario.
Don't admit that. You're gonna get
no, it's the truth.
Bunch of schizos getting mad at my channel here.
But it is what it is, man. Like you see that and you understand that, you know what? Like something else is going on here. And now you see him the way that he's being a rebel. All right. Well, that to me is very Luciferian. It's very, very Luciferian. And then you see his counterpart, Rihanna, at the Super Bowl being the Black Madonna. Okay. That's if you look at the imagery from the Super Bowl the other night, first she's in the upper triangle, and that upper triangle that represents the masculinity. And then she flips down, she exposes her belly, and she's in the lower triangle, and she's the Black Madonna.
I'm pretty sure
some weirdo cult shit.
I'm pretty sure all the performances at like Grammys and Super Bowl and everything, like everything is designed by an occult designer. Like I think that's their tradition at this point.
Well, and it's the same set from the Donda tour, which is the tour that he did to honor his mother, who he now says openly was murdered to like sacrifice to.
Right. It's like an Illuminati
him.
Sacrifice type thing.
Yeah. So, like,
didn't she get surgery and then they like botched the surgery for like a plastic surgery or something? Like something very unnecessary.
The surgery is the conspiracy, right? That's the conspiracy, is that she was killed during the surgery to be like an Illuminati sacrifice to make Kanye finally snap, right? But I'll be honest,
when I brought this up, sorry, go ahead.
When he came out and he was like, I finally get it. I'm not bipolar. I'm just a little autistic. I totally got that. I was like, yeah, man, I get that. I feel that way too.
Yeah, relatable, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I brought this up, I didn't think you were gonna go full, he's Illuminati, but that's an interesting take. I could definitely see that being a possibility. I don't know how much these occult kind of things influence celebrities. I'm sure there are ones that are influenced more by it, like somebody like Jay-Z is probably more influenced. Now, there's also producers, managers, designers behind the scene who are all involved with this kind of stuff, I would assume, right? That's how all this stuff gets inserted into it, and like controllers, handlers, and whatnot. Now, this article goes on to say that his new wife, Bianca Censori, which is funny because censorship, she's taking control of all his business, taking all his business calls, and doing his daily schedules and whatnot. So since she's been
at least getting a handy,
right. So apparently she's been kind of involved or in his life since like 2020 or 2021 because she works with the Yeezy factory. So I'm thinking maybe they tapped into her and said like, yo, pursue this relationship with him, get him under control. Right? Do you think you could get in there?
Are you aware of like what ended up happening with him and Fuentes? Like, what did they just disassociate from each other, or like?
So that's the interesting thing is that Fuentes keeps talking about him as if they're talking on a regular basis, and that 2024 is still a thing. Yet, there hasn't been any real developments of this. So I'm hoping that they're going to get back in touch in the future. But what I suspect is that this chick is really taken over. And now Fuentes is iced out.
The Men in Black thing, right? And now he's like zapped.
Possibly got him on medication again, which I don't know if he should be on it or not. I think some of the things that he's saying are very crucial to get into the Overton window of what people are talking about. I'm not like all down for this I love Hitler stuff, but
yeah, that's a little far.
Well, it's just weird. Like, it can be funny in some ways, but like talking about handlers and power of that sort, I think that's an important conversation, right? But I feel like Nick is pissed that this woman is trying to ice him out, but he can't say anything bad about her because that's Ye's wife, right? So I'm hoping for a yay 2024. I mean, between Trump and DeSantis, is that really going to be interesting? Trump does not have the same energy that he had before. DeSantis is like the safe Trump that all the conservative establishment is shilling for at this point. And I think Biden will probably win against them if he takes the nomination again. Well, he's the president, so I guess he has to.
I
right?
think Kanye kind of acts like Maxime Bernier. You know what I mean? Like if Kanye runs, you know, he takes the black vote, right? At least the black and walking away from the Democrat vote, you know, he takes that vote at the very least. And then, you know, that's at least, I'd say like 1/5 of the Republican vote, maybe, right? Maybe like a sixth. So it's, I'm not going to say it's vote stealing, but it's going to act that way. It's going to be an interesting, like, addition to the, because it's always just been a two-party thing, right? So is he going to try and take over the Republican Party, or is he going to run third party, right? I think he's running third party. Isn't even Trump?
I think
running
he's
third
running.
party?
I think he's running as an independent. I'm not sure. That's why I'd like to see him elaborate upon this. I don't think he has any chance of winning, like anything, really. But the publicity stunts and just injecting his talking points into the mainstream, because they're gonna have to deal with it in one way or another. They're not just gonna ice out Ye from the public conversation. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
He'll kind of open up the Overton window, introduce people to new subjects, and get them actually thinking, right? Get people discussing these things.
I mean, if he did anything, he got the noticing started, right? He got that started, and it was, like I said the last time I was on your show, it's like he kind of just pushed it. You know, like let's see how it goes, and now you just got to see how it goes. Now, why you got that freaking strung ham up on the freaking?
Well,
like
we've been
everywhere
going
I go,
for about.
I see this strung up ham everywhere. Why?
We've been going for about 2 hours now, so to wrap it up, I think
strung up ham.
Yeah, we'll go for a nice delicacy here for the very end.
God.
So this is what you were talking about, the Rihanna thing.
Yeah.
Like obviously they're up to some occult devil type shit.
Bro, even the chords, if you go back to those chords, that's a symbol. That's a order orientus, or it's Aleister Crowley. It's his shit, man. That's a symbol, those chords. Her standing in the middle of that. Those are all like weird, like turn of the century spiritualist stuff. And
so
like,
what's the point of it though? What
They're trying to birth like a new ethos, like what I was telling you. They're trying to like make a new morality, a new
right.
It's so like.
Are they also trying to trigger? I feel like these celebrities, they think that they're trying to trigger Christians. Like especially this Sam Smith guy, I don't even want to have that up.
These are people who literally believe that you can say you're a woman and be a woman. Okay, the religion says it so. Right, so you got to remember that they're doing some freaky weird shit here that makes no sense, because it makes no sense. It's postmodern. It's supposed to dehumanize and take you away from objective value, because it's evil, man. It's evil. Like this stuff is what manifests at the end of societies. It just pops up because that's what evil is.
Well, it seems like they want us all to like identify as like devils or animals. Like we're all some kind of beast of some sort. Even Ram Ranch, you know.
They're representing the Scarlet Woman of the Revelation. I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to represent the Scarlet Woman of like the Whore of Babylon. I think that's what's going on there. It's a little weird.
Okay.
Yeah. Ram Ranch would fit right in there, though.
Right.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here?
Boggendorf sister. It's the Boggendorf sister.
Okay. I think I get what you're saying. Bogdanov twins. Okay, yeah, there it is. Like, what do you inject in your face to get it like that? That she seems like the villain in like a cartoon.
Filler.
Like a villain in Care Bears or something. Like a female.
That's something weird, man. But it also looks like that statue in New York that they put on the bank. I think it was. It looks like the same.
Oh,
chick
like Ruth Bader Ginsburg statue.
I don't. No. The weird gold, that one there on the right.
Yeah, that one.
Weird statue. Right?
Yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's like she has devil, like the ram horns or something.
That's supposed to be her. That's so weird.
Yeah, apparently it's fucking really weird.
But that makes sense because she was the abortion judge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that all ties into their religion of killing babies and, frickin' Ozzy Osbourne singing he literally does not believe in Jesus on, 12 o'clock FM radio. It's messed up, guys. We live in a messed up world,
The funny, so I was looking for that Madonna picture, like what's the most viral post on Twitter, just so I could present it, right? And the most viral one was this Antifa guy saying, I don't hate Madonna for doing this to herself. I hate that we live in a society where she thinks she has to do this to herself. And I'm just trying to like wrap my head around that statement. Like, who thinks that they
think she has to? Yeah.
Why would anybody think that they have to do this? And why would society want you to look like that? Nobody likes that.
She has like a slave boyfriend. Like he's like a young dude who's like her slave. It's really weird.
Yeah, she wanted to do this because she thought that she had to do this probably because she praises Satan or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah. No, they're so basically Rihanna is performing the same role that Madonna performed in the 80s. Okay, it's creating a new ethos, right? So that's the whole point of her like being shown as like done, fried. It's they're showing you she's over. This generation is done. They're implanting that in your brain. Madonna is a monster. Yeah, she's a monster.
Wow,
look at her. She's a monster.
Take.
She's been a monster in every picture for the last half a year at least.
So
she's
you're
been
telling
absolutely
me
disgusting.
that they're pushing her as like the washed up old woman who's like
that culture is dead, dying, and going away. Yeah.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Because
now
it's so
you have
blatantly off-putting
man.
that I don't know who they're trying to appeal to, right?
Well, I was trying to say this on Rant's podcast the other day, but my audio was messing up. It's, the reason why you're seeing videos of Lady Gaga getting puked on and that other video of that chick pissing on that dude and stuff that's postmodern art. And the whole point of that is
Piss Christ.
Yeah. They're devaluing objective beauty, right?
Oh,
trying to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they're trying to say to you that that beauty is subjective, and that's not true. It's just not true.
Well, I think one of the first people to like in the 1900s with postmodern art, you had Picasso, where the art, it looked kind of cool, but it was starting to get into territory. It's like, this looks like an amateur drawing, kind of.
Yeah.
But I can see why it looks cool. But then it devolved into, who's this guy, Jackson Pollock? This guy fucking sucks. And he's supposedly like
fuck this guy.
Yeah, like,
hey, this guy's a fucking hack.
Look at this shit. This was sold for like, stuff like this was sold for $100 million. This is
yeah,
where
well, you can go into an art gallery in Toronto and somebody is like basically pissing yellow paint on a canvas and they sell it for $2,500 and people hang that shit above their beds. You know, they're like massive canvases that they're just ridiculous and people buy it because they are participating in this ritual of disassociating from what is objectively in front of them because for whatever reason they need to hide from reality, and usually it's that they're sinful, disgusting people. That's the truth, right? How many people, like, if you go out there and you start living a worldly life where you start meeting people, you start learning, a lot of people have dirty frickin' secrets these days, man. A lot of people have these dirty secrets, and the way that they express themselves is through this shit. It's this crap is and terrible pop music because it's escapism, man. It's a weird form of escapism that makes them feel like they're normal, but they're not. They're bots and NPCs, man. They've had their morals usurped for a stupid cause, and they've led us to this Kali Yuga-esque sort of end of days bullshit World War III moment where we got baroons and acid clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was quite the rant to kind of cap this off with, man. Glad to have you on, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Good time, man.
Tofu TV on YouTube. Right?
Yeah,
Is there anywhere else?
CA has all the links, so if you just follow me on your favorite platform.
Okay, I'm gonna get that up right now. I'm gonna dump that in the chat. Oh
Right
wow,
on.
you got some good website design. I like this. Nice and animated.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So I'm switching it up a little bit. The music side is where the archive used to be. And that's going to be like all the tracks because not all of them make it to Spotify. Some of them just go on SoundCloud. The ones on SoundCloud are more so just like fun stuff that I put together. I'm not trying to be famous with this stuff. I want to give culture is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like inspire people to create culture. So that's the whole point of this one's for you, right?
That's awesome, man.
So
yeah. Stay true to yourself. We were actually having a conversation before we started about how, instead of going with what is going to make you money or get you popularity, for example, somebody shilling for Pierre because he knows that saying, oh, like or retweet this tweet if you think Justin Trudeau has got to go, constantly pandering to that. You're going to take a piece of your soul away. Say what you feel needs to get out there.
Because pleb is actually PPC, right?
Okay, you got what I was putting down there.
Yeah, but he's actually PPC, right? So it's kind of weird, right? That's a weird fucking deal. I don't know, man.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't want to get it.
So we missed a super chat. Uncle Kenny, $3. Thank you very much. Saying for fuck's sakes. No, I believe that was in reference to Ram Ranch that we played earlier about the gay naked cowboys in the shower that apparently Antifa sees as their battle cry. We're going in with like Flight of the Valkyries or by God we'll have our home again, and they're going in with 3 naked cowboys in the shower, Ram Ranch, sucking and fucking. Sony in the Rumble chat says Ram Ranch sounds like a gay bar. Yeah. If you're gay, you ain't cowboy, he says. Okay. Well, apparently that guy who wrote Ram Ranch, he wrote it in protest to trying to do a bunch of gay cowboy lover songs in Alabama, and they wouldn't get the airtime he wanted. Like they just straight out rejected it. So he did this as like a fuck you to conservatives. Interesting.
He's like what was that guy, the black country singer that couldn't show his face? I forget. There was a black country singer that couldn't perform in public, and like he couldn't put his face on the album for so many years, and he became like a huge sensation. And then it came out that he was black, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, whatever should we do?"
Their heads explode.
Yeah.
So should we play Ram Ranch to lead us out? All 7 minutes of it, or should we not
on
torture?
Bigot Bounce or something, man? Like
Put on Bigot Bounce. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna torture my audience here. All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back here next Tuesday. I'm sure there'll be plenty more going on. And thank you to all the super chatters who super chatted tonight. Let's take a look who super chatted again. Fucking Al Stern, the mysterious hyphen, and Uncle Kenny. Thank you so much. Glad to have people out on Rumble, Odyssey, and YouTube. Yeah, they're begging no more Ram Ranch. Someone just said Bigot Ranch. five odious bigots here at Bigot Ranch.
With Greg Arcade.
That would be fucking Ram Ranch, but it's not gay and based. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we have a new project in the works. All right. Yeah. Let's get Bigot Bounce on. Let's end this with some Bigot Bounce.
Right on.
All right.
Well, Evan, Tony, whatever you're going by tonight. Hope you had fun. Hope I was entertaining.
Well, the longer the stream, the more they have to clip. So
yeah,
we're putting them to work.
Well, labels can have a terribly
all right.
negative
See you later, everyone.
Impact. And I think that it is important for all of us to understand that words have power. Words have meaning. Words have meaning. Words have meaning. Words have meaning. Words have
Make sure you smash that like.
This so-called convoy actually seeded the ground, in my opinion, for the worst display of Nazi, racist,
Conspiracy theories, far-right, misogynist conspiracy theories,
Nazi, racist,
conspiracy theories, far-right, misogynist conspiracy theories.
And that means we're going to work with provinces and territories on vaccination certifications, on vaccination passports, so that everyone can be safe. And what's more, the federal government has announced we're going to pay for the development of those privileges that you get once you get vaccinated, because everyone needs to get vaccinated, and those people are putting us all at risk. You people, those people, 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 you people, you people, you people, you people,
Conspiracy theories. You deserve a government that's going to continue to say, get vaccinated. And you know what? If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. But don't think you can get on a plane or a train beside vaccinated people and put them at risk. We need to be strong in the decisions we're taking going forward, and we need to put people first.
Nazi,
Anti-vax,
racist,
anti-vax, far-right, anti-vax, conspiracy theories,
Nazi,
anti-vax,
racist,
anti-vax, far-right, anti-vax, conspiracy theories,
Nazi,
anti-vax,
racist,
anti-vax, far-right,
Trying to scare people into putting their own lives at risk, and I won't apologize for doing that.